some of my own personal experiences of true crime. We might even get into some creepypasta if we have some time. But tonight we're getting kind of spooky for the Halloween day / night. Whenever you're watching this video, probably night. Some spookiness going on. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I really didn't have an idea of doing a lot of Halloween style videos, so if you're seeing this, I guess I did get the vibe of doing a Halloween video. If you guys could please leave a like on this video. This is not the content I usually make, so any kind of support would be so immensely appreciated. If you could just leave a like on the video, click the like button, maybe even comment how your Halloween is, if you like Halloween, if you dressed up for Halloween, what did you do, or maybe even some true crime. You can let me know down below in the comments. And of course, watch time is king here on YouTube, so if you could just sit back and relax here tonight, or today, that would really mean a lot to me. So I think we're going to split this video into 3 different parts. Part number 1 here is actually going to be some true crime, but it's going to be an own personal account of a real life true crime scenario. It's nothing too intense, so that's why I'm starting out with it first. I've lived a very privileged life, I know. But I do have something that has happened to me before when I was a kid that still kind of lingers over me from time to time. This was a handful of years ago. I was obviously still a kid, as I just spoiled already. And I just had a baseball game. Obviously my entire family went. If I can remember, I think one of my brothers also had a baseball game at the same time, so they had like a little league field in one side of the park, and then they had like the more grown-up kids on the other side of the park. And I just finished having a game. We headed home. On our drive up home, we're having a great time, relaxing. I might have had a good game, and I don't really remember. But I do definitely remember going home. I remember for some reason my mom having to say that they had like an eerie feeling going home, like she forgot something at the baseball field. Maybe she left the oven on. You know, she had a feeling that something was definitely off, and she didn't know why. And as we're driving home, we stroll up to the house after we park it, and everybody had a feeling that something was just off. Everybody could feel it. Everybody was dead quiet. It was from a happy day at a baseball game to something is just wrong. No one said a word. As my dad strolls up to the front door, actually no, it was the back door. The back door at the time, it was the back door. We use it pretty much all the time, so it's kind of the front door, but it is the back door. My dad goes to open the door, and the door pops open. Didn't need to turn the handle, didn't need to put any pressure on it. The door just opens. Obviously that's not supposed to happen when nobody is home. Also, I should probably state, we live in the middle of nowhere. Obviously I live in an apartment now. Used to live in a nice house in the middle of the woods here in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously no one really around, so when something's wrong. There's nothing you can really equivalent it to. When something's up. My dad opens the door, no effort. My dad hand shoots out behind us to tell us to stop. Everybody is dead silent. You can probably already tell where this story is going. My dad creaks the door open even further. further, we can all kind of like move over and see inside our home. That back door leads into the laundry room. There's nothing there, nothing off. Obviously, my dad doesn't want us inside, but he doesn't want us outside by ourselves. So we then move our way into the laundry room, and everybody is quiet. My dad then opens the laundry door, which leads into the living room. Again, just like last time, we can all sort of move around and peek inside. The living room is trashed. The living room is destroyed. There are cabinets flipped on their heads. There's everything and everywhere. The pillows are thrown around. It literally looks like an absolute rager of a party has just taken place inside of our living room. I should let you know, we've been at these baseball games for 4 hours, 3 hours. It's from the morning to that, mid to late afternoon. We've been out for quite some time. Yeah, something was definitely up while we were gone. We ended up checking out the living room a bit closer, and I remember so vividly the TV in our living room. Of course, this was a long time ago, so the TV was a huge, boxed TV. It's not like a flat. It's not a flat screen. It was a boxed TV, but it was big. It was our living room TV, so it was a big TV, but it was boxed, so pretty heavy. And on the back of the TV, it was turned and sort of moved around. So obviously, somebody had some interest in our television, and you could see handprints on the back side of the TV because it was so dusty. And there's handprints all over the TV. There's no fingerprints. Definitely someone was wearing some gloves, or a couple people. And there's handprints on the dust on the back side of the TV. And you can see these handprints all over the living room, everywhere. We continue on to the other parts of the home. The kitchen had some drawers open. The cabinets also were opened. They actually stole some of our food, which I thought was super weird, but they stole like snack stuff and some like drink stuff. Just some like random food items, which was really weird. We had a family room. So this is the living room, and then there's like the family room, like where you have like your table, your nice silverware and stuff. That was completely destroyed, shattered. Plates from my grandparents, like, who have passed away, they were shattered everywhere. Cabinets with glass on them, shattered. My mom had a very nice grandfather clock, just completely wrecked. And that was really sad. That was really, 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 really sad. And I think when I saw sort of those little things, I really started to get really scared when I actually started to see like the destruction of our home was so upsetting. And also seeing my parents just look distraught was really scary too. We kind of all went into my parents' room kind of at the same time. And a window on the side of my parents' bed was shattered. And it was kind of, a lot of stuff going on in that little area. There were some things like kind of like not supposed to be there, still there. It almost seemed like a rushed kind of thing. Like almost there was just like a bunch of stuff just clobbered at that back window. Like it was just kind of all piled up there. As we were walking through the bedroom, I just decided to look out the window. As I walk towards the window, I am now at the window. All the stuff is below me, like CDs, DVDs, random things, like a pillowcase, things like that. I then pan up towards the outside of the window. Again, the glass is shattered. It like the start of our woods. We did live on like an acre of land, and we had a very tall tree line. And at the very start of the tree line, I see two people standing there. They did not have anything in their hands. They were just standing there. They were wearing all black. One of them had like a black and white bandana and a beanie. The other one had almost just like a random like a ski mask. It was just like a normal black ski mask, and they were just standing there, watching what was unfolding on the inside of our home. I actually was so scared. I didn't say anything to anybody about this for a handful of minutes. I kind of just stood there and just stood there. I couldn't do anything. The two individuals then proceeded to walk inside of our woods and kind of disappeared out of sight. That was terrifying. The police obviously ended up coming over. I obviously told my parents about what I saw. You could have said, "Oh, Jake Paul, maybe you were just thinking or imagining." No, there was glass and other things leading outside into the woods. I'm assuming the people who decided to rob our home just parked their car on the other side of our woods, so they just, didn't obviously park their car, their getaway vehicle, in where we parked. They parked it on the other side of our home, on the opposite side of the woods, so that, no one would see their car, which was probably a smart idea. But yeah, ever since then, I've actually had kind of a fear of, like, burglary, home invasion, stuff like that. Movies like Strangers and movies like that really terrify me, because even as a kid, for some reason it just didn't click about what was really going on. But yeah, kind of a scary little scenario of a young kid strolling up to their home and it being absolutely just terrorized on the inside. Wow, the burglars, the assailants, the scary, weird people watched as the family they just burglarized came home. Which, for some reason, the more I think about it, is deeply disturbing. Another thing someone asked me if I was doing a video like this was to do my most intriguing true crime story. And I don't want to say it's my favorite, because that's kind of disgusting of a word and verbiage to use. But I do have a true crime sort of scenario, something that does really intrigue me. It kind of plays into the Halloween theme of movies, and also kind of, I don't know, it's intriguing about how crazy people can actually be. Actually, it is a video on YouTube titled The Disturbing Case of the Scream Killers. A very popular true crime channel known as Explore With Us, or EWU, really sort of brought to light this crazy story of two teenage kids who for some reason had a strange infatuation with the movie Scream, to the point where, yes, they decided to film their entire setup of actually eating people, which is absolutely terrifying. I think they only ended up getting one girl, which is very sad. Her name was Cassie. It was actually one of their friends, which is also just so sad. But this story for me is super compelling, because the entirety of the sort of start and ending of this story is all being filmed by these two kids, which is insane. I definitely find their interrogation also featured in that video to be very interesting. You can definitely tell these kids think they are trying to get away with actual murder, which, no duh, you're not going to. It's not a movie. But these kids, for some reason in their brain, just thought they would get away with it because, what if the killer got away with it? And they were so infatuated with that sort of like, I don't know, serial killer mindset. They just thought they were so smart. They thought they could outsmart the police, outsmart their parents. They thought they could just get away with it. And obviously that ended up not happening. But if I can remember what happens, the two kids, I think, invite their third friend over to a home that they were house sitting in. And the two kids ended up leaving. Coming back to said home where the girl was at, and ended up, ending her life, which is so terribly sad. And they filmed everything. They filmed their thought process beforehand. They filmed the hyping of themselves up beforehand. They filmed who they wanted to target. They, afterwards, after the just disgustingness went down, they even filmed themselves in the car, driving away from just doing the unthinkable. You can kind of hear in their voices, they're so scared, they're nervous, they're excited, they're hopped up on whatever they want. And it's just such an intriguing story because it's all being filmed. Now, there are some probably better true crime videos and documentaries and things like that, but for some reason this story is so compelling to me because it is all being caught in a first-person POV. I'm also a big fan of movies. I love movies. I'm not a huge fan of the horror genre, but it's insane just how the infatuation of scary movie can just be so deep and dug into someone's brain that they think that they can do that kind of ill will and power towards other end. It's intriguing, but also just so sad that, man, some people just have such brain rot of that kind of stuff that they almost kind of convince themselves they are a deranged killer mastermind, which obviously does not make any sense. But that story is probably my most intriguing. I don't want to say it's my favorite because that's disgusting, but it's definitely one of my most intriguing stories that it's really weird. You guys should definitely look into it. There's a video I might link in the description, or I'm probably playing clips of it right now as I'm talking about it. That one really is super intriguing to me. I think that's enough for the true crime genre. If you have more true crime you want me to know, or a favorite story, or a most intriguing story, definitely let me know. Now, I know this video is getting kind of long, so I'll probably finish it up here. One thing I did definitely want to take a little bit of a look at was some creepypasta. If you guys want like an entire video of some creepypasta, definitely let me know down below in the comments, and I can do more of these, even when it's not the spooky holiday season. But I'm not a huge fan of like long form creepypasta. I like short and sweet creepypasta. That's some of my favorite ones. I know if you look at some creepypasta from the interwebs, it's like a 17-page short story, which is kind of cool. But some of my favorite ones are nice, short, and sweet, which is kind of nice. I have one for you guys to leave off this video with. It is titled The Man in the Snow. You are home alone, and you hear on the news, on the television, about the profile of a murderer who is on the loose in your city. You look outside the sliding glass doors to your backyard, and you notice a man standing out in the snow. He, for some reason, seems familiar. The profile, the size, the clothing seems too familiar. fits the exact profile of the man saw on the television. And you can see him smiling at you. You gulp, picking up the phone to the right of you, dialing 911 in the living room. You look back outside the glass as you wait for the phone to be picked up, the phone pressed to your ear as hard as you can. And you notice the figure is standing closer now. In shock, you drop the phone. There are no footprints in the snow. The reflection of the man is right in your face. Dun dun dun. That's kind of an interesting story. It kind of ties into the first, obviously my personal story of a creepy story of just standing on the window and seeing a figure outside. I always find, again, that sort of a feeling of like invasion very terrifying. That kind of stuff is very creepy. That's obviously it's not a real story, it's a fake story. Now, there's actually a comment on this little story, and there actually was a theory of someone in the comments saying, what if this is not actually a sort of first person, so actually, what would it be, a first person or a third person account? They're basically saying the person who is actually in the home is not just some random person, but the person who's inside is the same person on the outside. The person on the inside of the home is just seeing their own reflection, and the person on the inside is actually the murderer, kind of coming to his own wits and like realizing what they just did. That's kind of a cool little theory that that person on the inside, you the reader, are actually the killer, and you're just seeing your reflection on the mirror, the reflection of the window, coming to wits that you are the deranged killer on the TV, which I thought that was kind of a cool little dual way of seeing that. Anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's not like a super in-deep cut of creepypasta. For me, creepy stuff is real stuff. Creepy stuff is, I'm not like a huge ghosty, monstery, spooky, paranormal activity kind of guy. Things that really scare me are real. I don't want to say that, like real scenarios, so that's why this video is mostly that. If you guys want more like ghost stories, I do, by the way, have a ghost story. I've told it before, but I can tell it again if you guys want me to. I have my own personal ghost story we could go into, but if not, I'll just leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love ya, and I'll see you again in another video very, 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 very soon. Make sure to leave a like on the video, comment down below, all that fun stuff. Bye. Bye, bye,